Hi, my name is Ms. Diamond Wickfall,
And I'm Buster Pants.
and you're listening to
The
Horror
Horror
Squad
Squad
Podcast.
Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 309, where tonight we are going to be talking about 2017's Anna and the Apocalypse. Steve's pick this week, right?
That's correct. Yep. My
Very
pick.
nice.
Really, not because I've seen it, based off recommendations
Yeah,
from.
make sure you clear that up right away.
Yeah.
Not
So for
because-
people in our Discord and just in general, like I see a lot of high scores for this. So I was curious. I was going to watch it anyway, so I figured I will subject you to it as well. I know you, Joe, you wanted to watch as well. So
I did, yeah.
it's nice
Yeah.
that we're all going in kind of blind on this one. So I've no idea how you guys feel about this movie, and I'm very curious.
Yes. Well, stay tuned. You will definitely hear our thoughts. In the meantime, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone. This is our Christmas episode to end out the month of December. We hope you enjoyed our Christmas horror month. It has become a tradition for the Horror Squad podcast to do Christmas horror every month. It's always fun. This year was interesting because we kind of did stuff that was out of the box, stuff that, you know, that isn't sort of in the mainstream Christmas horror. So it's kind of been a roller coaster ride, and we'll see where Anna and the Apocalypse ends on that note. In the meantime, I do want to say, we are getting ready for our year-end episode, of course, best of 2023. I think probably all of our favorite episode of the year. Always love to see everyone's list. Always love to see what people have on them. So please, a call to all of you. Send us your best of 2023 horror lists. I cannot wait to see what everyone has, but you can send them through email, Discord, social media, whatever you want to do. You know how to get in touch with us. But Steve, Todd, gentlemen, how was your week? You guys all ready for Christmas?
No. Is anyone ever truly ready for Christmas? Honestly, it's like came pretty fast this year. To be honest, like it was just Thanksgiving like a week ago, and now it's Christmas on Monday. So it's like, gee whiz. But I digress. Like I said last week, don't skip the dentist. I'm on treatment number 3 of 5 coming up, baby. So just go. I know it sucks, but just fucking do it.
I don't envy you at all, man. I had an appointment last week. Now, granted, I've never had any issues with my teeth. I'm really lucky in that respect. But I got to cancel it because of COVID, and I was so happy. But
Yeah.
because of your little speech, I'm like, maybe I should fucking
Just do it.
schedule it for early January. Yeah, it's. I just don't want to do a root canal. Does not sound fun, so I don't want to experience that ever.
Even if your mouth doesn't hurt, just go get it checked out. It won't hurt to get it checked out. Plus, I thought I was only having 4 treatments, and then I guess a root canal is a double thing. So I'm like, oh well, that's nice. But yeah,
There's nothing worse than like the thing they have to like put over your mouth, like that plastic
The-
fucking thing they have to
the
put
ca-
over you.
yeah, like the fucking it feels like a wetsuit.
Yeah, it's so uncomfortable. And like they have to put it around your tooth too, and
Yeah,
it's like super tight. Oh my god, it's the fucking worst. Yeah, definitely. If you can avoid a root canal, people, please.
Yeah.
It's not a pleasant experience. What else, gentlemen? Anything else?
No, I think
head
we're
into horror
ready
news?
to.
hold on. I want to throw something
We are not.
to you guys and the larger group at large here. So a couple weeks ago, I went to a hockey game, right?
Ooh.
And like any sporting event, they'll throw a ball, a puck, a shirt, whatever it is to the crowd to get them all hyped up. I want you to tell me if I am in the wrong or not. All right. I was with my family. We were front row, and like I turned behind me, and I saw one of like the stadium people fucking cocking a shirt like she's Tom Brady and throws it, right? By my Todd's basic math, if I wouldn't have done anything, it would have hit the back of my chair. Okay. There was a group of older people, like elderly, like 80 years old or something, behind me. I fucking made a play. I leaned over, both hands. I grabbed the shirt and fucking tucked it. And then my family was like, "What are you doing? You totally stole that from the old lady." I'm like, "Hey, what are you talking about? Like I made a play on a shirt. Like, and I gave it to my son. It's not like I kept the damn thing. You're in the wrong or in the right. I didn't like hit anybody. No contact made. Just made a better play over grandma."
I'm gonna say in the right. It's fair game. You go to a stadium. There's a million people there. Everyone's fighting for it. I mean, granted, you were like at what, like a amateur hockey sort of league, or
Yeah, it was AAA equivalent.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would say if it was just you, maybe, and your wife, I would say okay, maybe a little sketchy, but you do have kids, so giving it to your kid, I think, fair game.
Nice.
I agree. I think as long as it's not a situation where like the usher points at someone specific and then you fucking snatch it from that person, or like Joe said, I mean, the fact that you had kids there, kind of gives you like, and it's not like you fucking just like plowed the old lady like with an elbow and then grabbed it. You just caught it before they did. So I think in this particular case, you're good.
All right. Yeah, they were mortified. I'm like, I didn't. Whatever. Here's your shirt. Ungrateful turd.
That's awesome.
I mean, to be fair, I think your kid will get more mileage out of that shirt anyway than the 80-year-old people behind you. It's just the way of life. Facts of life.
Yeah.
All right, let's spill that tea.
Oh, you want the tea? I'm sorry. We don't serve tea. Nope. Instead, you get a cup of Joe. And now here's Joe with the news.
All righty. Thank you so much, Chuck. And here it is, your cup of Joe for the week. Are you guys ready for more Esther?
No, I didn't even watch the last Esther, so
neither did
I haven't seen either of them.
Really? The first one's pretty good. I actually haven't seen the sequel either, but
it got spoiled for me, so I never had the urge to watch it.
Yeah, that is kind of a killer if you already know it. Well, apparently, Orphan 3 is currently in active development with William Brent Bell, who, of course, was the original director of the film. I'm sorry, not the original film. He came in and stepped in for Orphan First Kill. He currently said, we're developing a third one now. The franchise's rulebook has been opened up to where anything is possible. And knowing where we are in the process already, I'm extremely, extremely excited about the twists and turns that we have in store. Apparently, you guys aren't excited for this. Is apparently the Esther franchise isn't for us currently, but I know it is for some of you out there. So I'm sure some of you will be excited for an Orphan 3. And maybe when it comes out, we can do a double feature and watch 2 and 3.
I just feel like this is not a story that needed sequels.
Right.
I thought the first was a pretty self-contained, good story. Like I said, I haven't watched the other one, but I just don't know why they're continuing this series. I mean, was there a big demand for this? I don't know.
All right, next big news here that just released. No surprise. We are ready to play another game, ladies and gentlemen. As Saw 11 has officially been announced September 27th, 2024. So really, they better get going. Not much time to get this movie made. But the big news was released. Supposedly, Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith will return, of course, for their legacy roles. What do you guys think? Saw 11. Excited?
So it's going to be another sequel, right, to Saw X.
Apparently.
So that just means like they were fucking super busy between like Saw 1 and when's he die? 4? 3?
Well, between 3 and 4.
3.
4 is the autopsy. So yeah.
Okay, so like damn, man, like they were just like every week having some kills go down. I don't know. It's silly. Like I love the Saw franchise, but it is getting a little silly at this point. He's 80 something years old, and I don't know.
I mean, you do him while you can because he's not going to live forever. So I guess they're going to pump these out until he's not able to do them anymore. And I love John Kramer. Tobin Bell is just so good. I'll watch it for sure because I don't know how interested I'm going to be in watching Saw once he's gone. I mean, Spiral was just not a great film. I mean, it's okay, but it wasn't great. So yeah, I'm excited to see this one. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I hope, at this point, just go ridiculous with it. Just do something crazy and have fun,
like International Space Station,
like Home Alone. Just make Home Alone the fucking the horror movie with John Kramer. Someone fucks with this. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I saw a thing today where they want him to do The Purge, but as Kevin McAllister.
Pretty cool.
Where he like defends his home as an adult.
Awesome. All right, well, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Like, but right therein lies the problem with Saw. Like, they'll make a good movie and then they'll totally ruin it by like making a ton more. But I think this one has potential to be good, especially after how good Saw X was. If they bring back the same writing team that did this last one, I have hope. Steve's already shaking his head.
They didn't. The writers specifically said that they're not working on this installment, but they wish the filmmakers all good luck.
All right, well, that definitely concerns me then. that is leaning more towards cash grab now with the studios, but we'll see. I mean, at least Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith are coming back. They are obviously the best part of Saw. So maybe we'll even see Dr. Gordon at some point pop up in these things again at
I
some
think he
point.
said specifically he's done with them.
He's
Gary
done with
Ellis.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
Hoffman.
He's just
since
he retreats to cons in his secret
Secret
tent.
Yeah, this secret hideout.
he just did Mission Impossible, so he's on the bigger
Oh, nice.
films now. Yeah.
I thought he said that before he came back though in the last one he was in there. which
Money
one, like,
talks.
seven
I
or
heard
something.
I heard it recently, but yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Money talks for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like Cindy Prescott said she wouldn't come back either, and she did.
Yeah, right. Hoffman is probably going to be in it though, right? Given
He's
the
got
events
it.
of Saw X.
Yeah, that's true. After how the last one ended, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll obviously be covering it next year. So Saw 11, 2024, and they were slowly creeping up into one of the longest running horror franchises, right? Like Friday the 13th's at what 12 right now. They already passed Nightmare on Elm Street. Halloween, I think, is currently the longest running one. So, but Saw's
13
creeping
right
up there.
or 14.
For Halloween, yeah, something like that. Yeah, they get a fuckload now. All right, next bit of news here is Eli Roth. What is next for Mr. Roth after Thanksgiving 2? Of course, Thanksgiving 2 is going to be coming out in 2025. Apparently, he's going to be doing some cons in between. But in a recent interview, Mr. Roth said he would like to make more Hostel movies. So in an interview he currently did with Cinepop, he went on to say, when asked what he would like to tackle next, he said Hostel and Cabin Fever. He said Hostel, there's a lot more to do. I'd love to go back to Hostel at some point, and Cabin Fever as well. They're a part of me. They're like my children. I feel like I've ignored them for too long, and I'd love to go back to them some way. I have ideas. I would definitely direct it. I don't want it in anyone else's hands. So, I mean,
Says
that's
the
pretty...
guy that allowed them to shot for shot remake Cabin Fever, or not shot for shot, but script. Like,
Did he?
up.
I mean, does he need approval does he need to give the approval for that, or can the studio just kind of do it without like asking him? I wonder.
I have no clue.
I'm sure the studio can just
Yeah.
do it. Like,
Right.
you sign away your life when you do movies like that. So
Right, but he didn't want to come back for the sequels of. He did Hostel 2 though, right?
Did he?
yeah, I did too, but not
Yeah,
three. Yeah.
but not 3, and he didn't come back for the Cabin Fever sequels. So I guess my question to you guys is, which would you prefer to see, or would you want to see both come back in some way, shape, or form with Roth directing?
I personally would like Hostel. I think you got a better world there to build on, and Cabin Fever, I think you just get silly at that point. But I would love them to bring back J.E. Hernandez from part 1. I know he dies in part 3 in the opening, but they can just retcon that easily and just skip it. But yeah, Hostel 1 and 2 are fucking awesome, so I would love a part 3 to just wrap everything up.
Yeah, I agree. I think Hostel would be the best move. It's been a long time at this point, and it's probably what he's most known for, I would say. So I think Hostel would be fun.
Although I would love more of the organization and the hunters, or whatever they're called, with the dog tattoos. I know they kind of toyed with that in part 2, but I would like to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm in agreement with you guys. I think Hostel is definitely the more interesting one to go back to. And with
Pancakes?
torture porn kind of coming back with, Saw getting so popular, I'm sure the studios would love another Hostel movie. All right, couple more stories to get through here. Terrifier fans rejoice. No surprise here, but it has officially been made official as Lauren Lavera has signed on to reprise her role as Sienna in the upcoming Terrifier 3. She said, I'm thrilled to be returning to Terrifier 3. Damien's vision for my character was special, and now he's set to take it to an entirely new level. It's been surreal to witness the immense connection and support from fans for Sienna, and I applaud Damien for introducing a strong female character, the angel-dressed heroine who gets to face off against Art the Clown's merciless ways. I can't wait for you to see the next chapter of Sienna as Damien dives deeper into her backstory. So there you go. I heard
he did.
I heard also Elliot Fullman, of course, who played the brother character in that, has also signed on to reprise his role. So they'll all be coming back. Oh,
more importantly,
yes, that's right.
Chris Jericho is also returning in Terrifier 3 because apparently it picks up like right after Terrifier 2 in the hospital that they were in. So he will be back as the orderly or nurse, or I forget what he was, hotel, like the clerk at the hospital. I don't remember. So whatever he did, he'll be back.
Yes, he
Probably
was
get
the
killed
orderly.
within
Yeah,
like 5
like the
minutes.
orderly. Yeah, you never know. Maybe he's a big horror fan, and
He is.
I know he wants to be in these movies, so we'll see. But yeah, well, next year, 2024. So we'll see how it is. It's going to be hopefully a big year for horror. We shall see. All right, Jennifer Love Hewitt, ladies and gentlemen, in the horror news here, as she recently did an interview and said that she would love an 100% return to the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise. Of course, she did 2 of them. I don't think she came back for the 3rd one. But when she asked in a recent interview, she said, "I loved making those movies. I'd do it for sure." I'm sure she would because, Jennifer, I haven't seen her in much as of late. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. I don't think any of us are very big lovers of the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise. If Jennifer Love Hewitt came back to it, would that pique any interest for you guys?
Maybe 30 years ago it would, but not anymore.
I don't like that franchise. I like her. I'd like to see her in something else horror, but this, like, I'm over it. I just don't like them. I don't think I liked a single one of them.
Yeah. I mean, the first one's okay. It has a lot of nostalgia for me, so that's kind of why I appreciate it. The second one is downright awful. Which we covered on the show, actually.
We did the first 2, I think.
Yeah. I think that would have been Sam's last episode,
I
actually,
think
ever.
so. I think she chose those movies
So
as
go
a
back
finale.
and listen to that as a throwback if you'd like to listen to that. But there you go. We'll see. Maybe. I mean, if they get Freddie Prinze back too, like they get all 4 of them. Well, they can't, right? Because Michelle and what's his face both died, but they could probably bring back Freddie Prinze and her.
The characters, for the record.
Well, the guy, right. Not to confuse anyone.
Right.
But we'll see. All right. Wolfman update, ladies and gentlemen, as Lee Winnell, of course, who most famously recently did The Invisible Man, is going to be doing his take on The Wolfman. It will be heading into theaters next year, October 25th, 2024. Christopher Abbott will be starring as the Wolfman. Apparently, Ryan Gosling pulled out. He originally was supposed to play the Wolfman, but Christopher Abbott has taken over the role of the Wolfman. So I'm excited personally. I thought Invisible Man was a really good take, and I'm excited to see Lee Winnell's take on the Wolfman. And the last bit of horror news tonight is something a little Christmassy. I wanted to throw something since it's, Christmas time, our Christmas episode, a potential update on Krampus 2. Is it ever going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? Well, Michael Dougherty recently in an interview, he said he is actively, coming up with ideas for it. He's actively trying to develop a script for it. So here are some of his ideas of a potential sequel for Krampus 2. He said, we do have an idea for a sequel. He said it doesn't necessarily center around a family as much as it might be about a group of strangers who are trapped somewhere. And that's all he said. So that's really all he gave us, unfortunately. But Trick or Treat 2, we are finally getting that. And I think if Trick or Treat 2 is successful, which I think we all expect it to be, I think Krampus 2 could be the next one he does tackle. I loved Krampus. I think we all loved Krampus, right? So I think we would be pretty pumped for Krampus 2. Well, we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen eventually. I think Krampus has become sort of a staple for Christmas horror every year. And I think the studios will see that. And I think they know the money can be made. So I'm excited and we'll see. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for your horror news this week. Thank you. Alrighty, gentlemen, what you been watching this week?
All right. Well, I briefly touched upon it last week, but I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4 Initiation. Only connected to the previous 3 in title only. Clint Howard plays Ricky, who's a loose connection, but I mean, he looks nothing like. They don't try to connect him at all. They just name him, hey, his name's Ricky. That's our connection here. He plays a bum, a homeless man who lives on a roof of this building. He works for this coven of women that are kind of like witches, and they have Clint have sex with like ladies, but they get impregnated with like kind of like slug creatures or something. It's all over the place, man. It's okay. It's a fun movie directed by Brian Usna, so you get his little style choices on it. It's over on Tubi if you want to check it out. Is it something you need to watch in order to like the series? No, I think you should definitely end at 3 if you're into the whole, Ricky saga and all that stuff. But part 4, it takes in a different direction, and I had fun with it in a group setting. So that's Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation, and it's 2.5 out of 5.
Are you going to complete the series, Todd, at this point?
I will. Toy Maker is
Yeah.
up next.
Excellent. So my first one this week is a 2023 film that I watched over on Paramount Plus. It is The Wrath of Becky. So a sequel to the film from a few years ago, Becky. And this one, Becky is working at a diner. It takes place a few years after the events of the first movie. And she's now living with like an older lady, just kind of paying her dues there because, her dad got killed in the first film, spoiler alert. So this time, like I said, she's at a diner and this group of white supremacists come in. They're going to a rally. I'm sure you could figure out what that means. And they start, kind of fucking around with her, just saying some shit to her, and she gets pissed off about it. So she drops coffee intentionally on one of the guys, and they follow her to where she lives. They kill the old lady that she's living with, which sends Becky in a spiral. Oh, they also steal her dog, because of course. And the rest of the story is Becky going to the place where they're staying at before the rally to exact some revenge. So very similar plot to the first one, in a way that I thought was a little unbelievable, like this whole thing over basically spilled coffee. But anyway, it is what it is. So in this one, the big bad is actually Sean William Scott, mostly known for Stifler of the American Pie series, and a bunch of other dudes who are basically fodder for Becky to kill. This is right on par with the last one, in my opinion. It's got some great kills. Lulu Wilson is good as Becky. I enjoy kind of her banter with the bad guys. It's an hour and a half, which is a good length. I was never bored. It keeps moving and there are constantly things happening. And I gotta say, I have a hard time separating Sean William Scott from Stifler. I've seen him in a lot of movies, but this is maybe the first movie where I gotta say he did a good fucking job. Like, he was actually really good in this role. He wasn't like as crazy as you'd expect. He was kind of more methodical, and he's like ex-military and stuff. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. There's a little bit of a twist to this one, which I'm not going to spoil. I enjoyed it. I thought it's a fun movie. Like, I don't think it's a top 10 or anything, but if you're looking for just a fun time, check it out. So that's Wrath of Becky 2023 on Paramount Plus.
So who's going to be the third white comedian turned white supremacist in the third Becky movie? Because you had what's his face from King of Queens.
Yeah.
Now you have Sean William Scott.
Kevin James.
Kevin James, yeah, the first one.
We doing Jim Carrey?
I was gonna say, but Jim Carrey
retired,
retired,
Too
right?
big. Too big.
Too big?
Too big for that.
Patton
For the
Oswalt?
low budget.
Patton
That'd
Oswalt?
be
Yeah.
awesome because he's so like lovable that it would be it'd be a nice turn, Like, yeah, that would be good. Let's
Pete
book it.
Davidson.
Yeah, but yeah. Get him, Joe, get him on the books, Joe. Get him.
You got it. I'm on it. Although we did just get a screener today with John Voight, and they said they are doing interviews. But although I don't think John
Yeah,
Voight will be
Voight's
doing
still
an
around?
interview.
God,
I didn't know he was still around.
It's
Yeah,
not
he's,
even a horror movie. It's like an action movie or
should,
something. They said.
you should hear what he's saying these days. Let me
Oh, Lord.
leave it at that.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Cousin Eddie.
Basically.
All right, my first one tonight is a 2021 release you can check out over on Netflix. It is called Things Heard and Seen, starring Amanda Seyfried. This one is about a young couple set in the 1980s. The husband gets a promotion or a job offer, so they end up leaving their life in the city to go live out sort of in the boonies, out like in a very rural area. They buy a farmhouse that is very old and whatnot. They sort of fix it up, and she's sort of in isolation. She's there with her daughter, but her husband goes off to work, and she kind of stays in the house and tends to that. She starts experiencing, I guess, sort of supernatural activity while in the house. So from there, she starts to I guess, peel back the onion of the house and try to discover what is going on in the house. And I'll leave it at that. This movie is pretty good. The problem is it's not a horror movie like at all. It was definitely mismarketed. When I put it on, I thought I was going to get a horror movie, and what I got was really just sort of a drama with some horror elements in it, but it's really the horror elements are very few and far between. So if you go into it expecting a horror movie, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But if you go into it as sort of supernatural drama, I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. The issues I had with it, though, was that there was just the plot conveniences were very ridiculous at times. People start. I won't spoil too much, but people end up murdered, and no one comes like knocking at the door being like, hey, what happened to these people or anything like that. Just kind of like life goes on type thing. So it's just like very, very convenient. As a horror movie, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. But as a drama, I'd probably rate it a little higher because I was never bored, and I enjoyed it for what it was. So that's Things Heard and Seen. You can check it out on Netflix if you want.
Alrighty, my last one is a 2023 Tubi original called Black Mold. I have no idea while I watched this. It like popped up on, I guess, Letterboxd a few times. I'm like, oh, let me check it out. It's about a couple people that go into like abandoned houses and things like that and take pictures for their art show, and they're very artsy and they talk about art a lot and they like art stuff and they like angles and shit like that. So instantly I was like, oh man, I'm not connecting with these people at all. But it was shot pretty well, and I appreciated that it had some cool like set designs, things like that. They decide to go to an abandoned asylum like every other fucking movie, and there they stumble upon Mr. Jeremy Holm, who we friend of the show, and he plays a homeless man that's like on the run because he has some mental health issues, and he thinks that they're after him, so he assaults them. But then he's nice and he lets them go, but then they can't leave because their ride never showed up. So now they're like, are we hallucinating scary stuff happening because the black mold that the movie is titled? Or is this place really haunted or whatever is going on? Or is there really just someone fucking crazy and killing people? I don't know. We'll find out. But Black Mold, man, I just never could connect to the characters. Not that they were, terribly bad acted or anything like that. I just didn't care about them personally. This ended up being a really good wrapping Christmas gifts in the background kind of movie, so that's what I ended up doing. So I gave it a 2.5. It's Tubi original over on Tubi.
Nice. Jeremy Holm was a contender for my best actor of the year this year.
In Black Mold?
No, held him in Brooklyn 45.
Yeah. Is that one I should watch, Steve? Because I've seen that on some top 10 lists for the year.
I don't think it would make your top 10, but there's some. It could get you a best actor actress type thing, because it's well done.
Tobin Bell will be tough to pass, but we'll see.
I got one, but anyway, we'll get there. 2 weeks.
All right.
My last one this week is another 2023 film that I watched over on Tubi, and it's Akdashibe, aka Holy Shiza, aka Holy Shit. So we just had a vote for our final episode of the year. We're going to review a 2023 film that we kind of missed out on, so kind of a last attempt for our top 10. And this was one of the choices. It did not win. The winner was actually Pet Sematary Bloodlines. But I wanted to check it out anyway, based only off some people have it on their top 10. So I was curious about what it was. So this is a story. It's a German film, obviously, by the title. This is a story of a guy. He wakes up in a porta potty that's kind of on its back. And he's pinned because there's this giant metal rod in his arm, so he can't move his arm. And he's basically just trying to figure out, A, how he got there, because he doesn't remember, and B, how to get out of this porta potty. And you would think to yourself, how much stuff could there be done in a porta potty? Well, this is probably one of the craziest single location films I've ever seen. The amount of shit, no pun intended, that they get into in this film within the confines of this porta potty is ridiculous. It's like got some comedy, it's got some mystery to it, like figuring out how he got there, what's happening. It also has surprisingly a lot of gore. I'm not going to say why or how. This movie's a fucking delight. Like, I actually really enjoyed this. It's probably one of my favorite single location films I've seen in a long time. At least I can't think of another one that I liked as much as this. It's kind of in the same vein as the other ones that we watched are Revealer, which was in a peep show booth, and Glorious, which was in a bathroom stall with a glory hole. This one, it kind of does its own thing, and even though it's not going to make my top 10, I'm actually really happy I watched it, and I think one day we might have to review it because we have to complete our trilogy of dirty places, single location places to do. So yeah, maybe this is one people should check out. I gave 3.5 stars out of 5, which I did for Becky as well. I forgot to mention that. And that is Holy Shit over on Tubi.
Very nice. That's one I'm very excited to watch. That sounds so fun. All right, my last one tonight, 2023 release. I believe I watched this on Shudder, and the movie is called Unseen. Steve, I think, talked about this one on the podcast recently. I decided to check it out because I had seen it on a lot of top 10 lists. So this one is about a young girl named Sam. It starts, no spoilers here because it basically starts right off like this. Essentially, she's been kidnapped and drugged by her boyfriend out in the woods in a cabin somewhere. He is attempting to murder her. She is able to escape, but unfortunately her glasses break, leaving her essentially almost blind, and she ends up getting a hold of her phone. She calls a number that misdialed her that goes to a young woman who is working at a convenience store in Florida named Gatorland, I believe is the name of the place. So, and from there, it is a sort of cat and mouse game of the boyfriend trying to get to our character Sam and the girl on the phone at the convenience store, Emily, trying to basically save her life. And it goes back and forth between the two of them while Emily is dealing with crazy Florida people at her place, and Emily and Sam trying to survive her boyfriend while Emily is her eyes on the camera phone. I will say this movie, man, it's only 76 minutes long. So it starts off like right away and it never has a dull moment. So I will give it major props for that. The problem is there's nothing new here. Like I've seen this type of movie like 100 times before. The whole sort of damsel in distress in the woods being stalked by some sort of person. So, I did like the stuff. Me and Steve, actually reading Steve's review, were actually complete opposites on this. I enjoyed the stuff in the woods more than I enjoyed the stuff in the convenience store. Just because I found the stuff in the convenience store really killed the tone of the movie for me. Like, because it's super serious out in the woods, and then we go to like a full fucking crazy ass comedy skit in the convenience store, which I just didn't jive with as much as I did with the stuff going on in the woods. So I think it's a very good half a movie, but the other half for me I just didn't jive with. But like I said, it's really short, it's really fast paced, and overall I did enjoy it. So, I'd give it a soft recommend. I don't think it's anything you have to like go out and like see right away, but if you're looking for something to pass the time, this is a solid one to watch. So that is I gave it 3 out of 5, and that is Unseen from this year.
Why didn't she call the police?
She did, actually. And I guess I'll just mild spoiler, if anyone cares, skip ahead like 20 seconds. But she did try to call the police, and essentially her location was turned off because the boyfriend was like a stalker type. So they said it could take like up to an hour to sort of find her location. So she ends up calling this number that was like misdialed because she's like essentially blind, which is like another sort of inconvenience. Are people who wear glasses really like that incapacitated? I don't know. Like I feel like that's I feel like
to be like legally blind, I think, if at that point, right?
Right. I feel like they should have just made her blind. Like I feel like that would have been a little better than just the plot convenience of her sort of losing her glasses, but whatever. And I did watch I did watch Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
You heard it here.
I am a Swiftie, so.
Did you book her yet for next week?
Yeah.
Dude, we would
She
have
wasn't
like 10,000 listens in an hour.
Oh my god. She was at the Patriots game this week, so cheering on her
Stop
boyfriend.
talking about her because I'm fucking tired of hearing about her on the NFL.
Come on, Swifties unite!
Oh god! All right, trivia. Is this our last one or
one more?
One more.
One
Okay.
more.
So not for all the marbles yet, but we're getting close there. So quarter number 4, Steve in the lead, 20, Joe 18, myself 17 overall. However, it is a tight butthole of a race. Joe 81, Steve and I both tied at 79 apiece. This is a good year, very
Mm.
competitive. Who would like to start today?
I'll start us
oh.
off.
Ooh,
Nope. Sorry, Steve.
Joe's
Beat you
fired
to
up.
it, buddy. Beat you to it. Alrighty. First trivia tonight. If you've been paying attention the past 2 weeks, I've had a theme for this year. So, all right, 3 letterboxed reviews. Guess the movie.
Okay.
Number 1, Adventures in Babysitting. Number 2, Sometimes the Kids Deserve to Die
Better
in a
Watch
Horror
Out?
Movie. Incorrect. Sometimes the Kids Deserve to Die in a Horror Movie. Every now and again. This is one of those.
I think he
And
did better watch out last week.
I did.
I thought you do. It was like a trick.
I was like, is he gonna do it again, the son of a bitch?
Yeah, that's right.
And number 3, religion literally makes horror movies so much scarier.
Can you repeat number 2? I interrupted you.
Sure. Sometimes the Kids Deserve to Die in a Horror Movie. Every now and again. This is one of those.
And then religion makes it scarier.
Religion literally makes horror movies so much scarier. And number 1 was Adventures in Babysitting.
Man, I don't know. Is it The Babysitter?
Incorrect.
Hmm.
Steve, would you care to another guess? I will say this movie we reviewed on the
Of course
podcast.
we did.
And it was released in 2019.
2019.
But I believe it was a 2020 release.
Yeah.
It made my top 10 that year.
Oh, wow.
She whiz.
just
I don't
can't
think it.
of a-
I don't know if it made either of your top 10s. Though.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know if it's a
It
holiday
is
movie. so-
Christmas. It's very. I will say it's Christmas themed, but it's very. I tried to be a little
Okay, it's not
tricky.
like-
It's very. It's not the main focus of the movie.
Okay,
Yeah, I got nothing.
I got nothing either.
All right. The movie was The Lodge.
The Lodge.
Yeah, see, I still wouldn't get.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Good movie though.
Yeah.
I agree. That's my number 1.
I did not like it.
No, that made my top 10. I
Did it make your top 10?
Yeah. think top 5.
Lovely.
Good movie. Steve, you wanted to go?
Yeah, sure. So my first one this week, as always, is Guess the Movie based off the IMDb parental guide. My only one this week, so enjoy it while it lasts.
Okay. So she said.
Sex and nudity.
Yes, please.
2 of the aliens display sexual intentions to each other, like fondling and stroking that produce evident arousal on each other, but they are brother and sister.
Oh,
Aliens jerking each other off.
lovely.
Brother and sister.
Well, I mean, who knows?
Violence and gore. A man is killed with a pickaxe off screen. A trail of blood is seen. Blood is seen on the killer's gloves.
Aliens, huh?
It's another alien like last week.
Hmm.
You did
Profanity.
aliens last week too. I don't
Yeah.
even remember the fucking movie either. So you know,
It's not the same one, but
I-
yes. Profanity. One use of shit, mind fuck, hell, for God's sake, good God, my God, sucker, idiot, punk, and gosh, 11 uses of damn, 1 use of God damn it, 10 uses of damn it, and 2 uses of fool.
Psycho Gorman.
Wrong.
good guess though.
Balls.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Dr. Scott finds a joint, but doesn't smoke it in the Zen room.
Syndrome.
Hmm.
Final one, probably the biggest of the giveaways here. Frightening and intense scenes. A tablecloth is pulled to reveal a dead person's body with their intestines exposed and bloody marks over them. They are being eaten by other characters who do not know until the moment the tablecloth is pulled off. Aliens, cannibalism, incest. What am I talking
my
about here?
My goodness. I mean,
I'll have another guess once show goes.
critters.
Wrong.
Is it Bad Taste?
Wrong. You want more
No,
guess?
it's a good guess. That's
Joe?
a good guess. E.T.
Wrong. It
Someday
is
it will be.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky. Oh,
Ah.
the aliens threw me off.
That's
I
correct.
don't even
Minor
aliens.
transsexual.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Riff Raff and Magdala are
Dang it.
aliens.
Gotcha. All right then. Tricky motherfucker, you.
You little trickster.
I went on the
Mine are-
musical theme, so for that one, not for the others.
Mine are not as tricky. Standard stuff here. The Perfection, 2018, features characters that play what musical instrument?
Cello.
Correct. Cello.
What was the movie?
Perfection.
Perfection.
Oh, The Perfection.
I love that movie.
That's great.
Okay. Guess the movie based on the IMDb information.
Okay.
This movie was released in 1987, clocking in at 1 hour and 28 minutes.
Ooh.
Directed by Lee Harry. Starring James Newman. I'm going to start giving character names too. I've never done that before. Starring James Newman as Dr. Henry Bloom, Elizabeth Caitlin as Jennifer, and Corinne Gelflin as Mrs. Rosenberg. The tagline: "The nightmare is about to begin again."
Hey, nothing.
Okay, I will
87.
give one more character.
Okay.
This will be the giveaway. Jean Miller as Mother Superior.
Is it Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Which one?
Two.
It would be.
Oh,
Stole it.
well, I don't know. It's a steal. I don't know if we're allowed.
No one gets it.
No
Or
one's
Steve-
getting this?
Steve,
I'm-
yeah.
Yeah.
Steve should have
I'm not
gotten the
getting- I'm not
first
getting
guess, I
Steve
think.
shit.
I'll come up with another one if
Judges,
you guys
come
would
on,
like.
man.
All
I
right.
think we've done that multiple times though. We're like, which one? And then someone guesses the right one
Yeah.
by default.
All right. So this one is guess the movie based off the Letterboxd reviews, and oh yes, these are our reviews.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
I need to start
lovely.
putting like a code in there.
Yeah, right. Felt too much like a Lifetime movie, and I didn't like the performances.
That's mine.
Yeah, drunk.
Grumpy fuck.
Mostly single location films.
That
are
was it?
difficult- That was you, yeah. That was it.
That's all I
No.
said.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it.
That's it.
Terrible
Short and
review.
sweet, Todd.
Mostly single location films are difficult to pull off, but
This
this one
one's
does a
mine.
decent job of it. I wish the mystery of who owned the van lasted a bit longer. I thought the bullshit scene was great as it provided good bits of dialogue and mind games. There should have been more of that.
Oh god.
Still, the movie kept a good pace and had interesting twists throughout. Worthy of a one-time watch, but wouldn't revisit.
The bullshit scene?
Mhm.
All right.
The fuck
And that
is
was mine.
bullshit scene?
That wasn't
Oh.
yours.
Oh, that was yours. Okay.
Here's yours, Joe.
Okay.
This was a pretty solid thriller. The single location never really dulled the film, and it really never wasted a second of its runtime as there was always something interesting happening. I do think they revealed too much too soon, however. They did a pretty nice job of putting other twists in there to keep you on your toes.
Glorious?
It's
Wrong.
not glorious. It's I don't want to say any hints because I know what it is, but I can't think of the title. If I give you the character name, you'll guess it because you're sneaky.
I wouldn't even know the character name myself. And I know what movie it is, so
Fuck. Oh. No. It's based on a book. I can't fucking think of the fucking title. Sam was on that episode, I think.
Probably, yeah.
No.
No Exit.
That's correct.
Oh,
Yes!
wow. Nice. That one. I forgot about that movie completely.
It's fucking terrible. It's like Lifetime movie, as
It
I said.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't that great. It was okay though.
It was
I
okay.
remember it. Yeah,
Not great, you know.
I agree with my assessment. Still, a decent one-time watch, but nothing I'd revisit.
The movie where drugs are okay as long as they make you strong to get away from bad people.
Correct.
In what 1990 film will you find mild-mannered mother named Peggy Boggs?
Ooh.
And
What
I'm going
is
to
it?
say, I'll give you a hint right off the bat that it's horror adjacent. It's in the horror universe, but it's not like fucking like slash or
Hmm.
anything like that.
Damn, okay.
So in
Still
what
going on.
1990 film will you find mild-mannered mother named Peggy Boggs, or short for Peg Boggs?
It's not the one I was gonna guess.
I got nothing.
I will give some hints.
I'm having a
So,
bad
yeah,
couple
give some
weeks here.
answer.
So it's set around Christmas time.
Okay.
The main character in this film looks scary, but it isn't. He's a nice guy. And it's a very famous younger actress who's huge throughout her entire career.
Okay. Is
And
that it?
she's returning to a film that comes out next year. It's
Okay.
a sequel.
Hmm.
What is
Oh.
this film?
She's returning to this film
Not
for a
this film.
sequel?
No, she's
Oh, okay.
returning to a sequel long in the making next year.
Oh,
But where is Peg Boggs from? What film? 1990.
it came out in 1990 or
The-
1990s?
Well, 1990 for exactly.
1990 exactly. Huh.
Mild mannered is also a hint. Mild mannered mother
Hmm.
named Peg Boggs. Going once,
I got nothing.
going twice. The answer is Edward Scissorhands.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They're making a sequel of that?
No. The main actress in it is
It's gonna be in
being
Beetlejuice, too.
Beetlejuice.
Oh. She is? What is she?
Winona Ryder.
Ryder?
Oh, I thought you meant like the actual
No,
actress.
I was
like,
giving you like hints, like
oh,
Christmas
okay,
time.
gotcha. I thought you meant like Peg Boggs. I was like, oh, she's coming. She wasn't in
I was
Beetlejuice.
unclear with that. my bad.
No, it's all right. All right. Something a little different this week.
Hmm.
Guess the movie based on the. I think Steve's done this one before, though. Guess the movie based on the IMDb trivia.
Okay.
One actor who led for the lead role of the movie pulled a knife at his audition.
Oh, we're guessing the movie,
Guess the movie.
The Sixth Sense.
Incorrect.
Oh man, blew my
Oh
load.
yeah.
Very
Yep,
fast. Dang
Really
it.
too fast.
This
Excellent.
movie was shot
Dang it.
in 18 days. Riff Tracks, the people behind Mystery Science Theater 3000, released a version of this film with audio commentary that made fun of it as you watch it.
That's so many.
Writer-director Michael Cooney drew storyboards for the whole film.
Okay, I think I got a second.
The
follow-up guess.
film was initially going to be an action thriller set in a bigger city with the CGI version of the title character, directed by Rennie Harlan with a $25 to $30 million budget. When Gina Davis, Harlan's then girlfriend, read the script, she thought it was the worst thing she had ever read
Oh,
and wanted to do another movie instead. And I'll
Like the
give
last
you
one?
one last hint.
Okay.
The rape scene.
Jack Frost.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's why I had it in my chamber already. When you said the CGI thing, I remembered that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know who
So-
didn't pass on that movie? Shannon Elizabeth.
That's right.
That's
Well,
right.
that's where I was going with the last one. The rape scene was intended actually to be Jack Frost smashing the character into a wall until she died. But during the editing phase, the editor told the director, "You know what this looks like, don't you?" Rather than reshoot the whole scene, the director went with it.
Rennie Harlan directed that?
No,
You would've directed
Rennie
the other
Harlan.
version of it.
Yeah, he was originally
Oh,
like he wrote a script for
Hmm.
it apparently that had like a $30 million budget. Like,
okay.
see, I would have loved to seen that version of it.
Jeez.
All
Ah, I
right.
had a bad night. I think
Well,
I fucking.
still got two more?
Still got
All right.
Apparently, all the movies were movies that we reviewed. I didn't even do that on purpose. I know.
Oh, nice.
Regular question for once.
Yeah.
In Becky, what does Becky throw to a bad guy instead of the key he wanted? And you need to be specific.
Oh,
A grenade.
Wrong.
what is she in the...
She tapes a grenade to someone, but she doesn't throw it.
Gotcha.
Oh,
They like slow mo show it like in the air going towards the bad dude.
I have one more guess.
she throws food
Wrong.
to the gentleman.
I mean, you need to be
Uh,
specific anyway, but
Was that, am I in the right?
That's-
I will say a dog bone.
wrong. You want one more guess, Todd?
Is it in the food universe though?
It's not a
I
edible
was
item.
gonna say steak because I remember there being a dog in there.
Yes.
There was a dog in there. It has nothing to do with the dog.
Nothing to do with the dog. Okay. A cell phone.
Wrong. It was a Canadian quarter, which he specifies multiple times.
All right.
Big super fans you are, huh, Joe?
We're all going hard.
Clever.
We're all going hard tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
We don't want anyone getting any
No.
points.
Yeah, right.
We're going negative if possible. For negative 3 points. What? All right. Which legendary horror filmmaker makes a cameo as an FBI agent in The Silence of the Lambs?
George Romero.
Correct. A little too easy. Fuck.
I was like right in my wheelhouse. All
Yeah.
right, point him up.
Steve, Big Night 3, Joe 0, myself 1.
He's in the lead, I think. Then
Which, yeah,
Yes.
Steve is 23
Tied.
for the, 23 for the month. Yeah, for the month, quarter, sorry. Joe and I tied at 18 apiece. Yeah, Steve's in the lead with 82. Joe with 81. Myself with 80.
anyone's game still.
Next week's gonna matter for sure.
at minute 18, second 23. What is shown on screen in the 1950 film? You know?
I'm gonna like
Attack of the Apes.
sabotage it.
I
Joe-
think I think we should put it in a call to our listeners to send each of us trivia questions for next week. That way, it's we're not
100%,
going
that's
too
true.
hard. Yeah,
'Cause I
that could be
can-
fun.
Totally give a softball to you. Be like,
Mhm.
what is Mr. Torrance's first name?
Yeah. So there you go, listeners. Help us out next week, the grand finale of this year's trivia. If you'd like to, you can DM any of us on our Discord or any of our socials.
But you can't gear it towards
Good
any
question.
specific person. We're trying to make it
Yes.
fair.
Yes.
So like no like Dawn of the Dead questions or anything like that.
Yes.
Shining.
Just a note for next week. Joe, you need to watch Dinosaur Prison, or we're
I do.
like
Yeah.
double punishing you.
All right. I keep
We give
forgetting.
you all quarter
honestly.
to watch
You know
it.
what? I'm going to put it into my calendar right now. I am on vacation starting Thursday, so I think I can definitely do that. I'm going to put it in my calendar now. Watch Dinosaur. It's Dinosaur Prison?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'm putting it in my calendar right now. Watch Dinosaur Prison. All right. We got it. It's on Tubi?
Yep.
All right. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, that will be a thrilling trivia to end the year. I'm really excited to see who the winner is. All right. Let's get into it then, ladies and gentlemen. Our main event for the evening, 2017's Anna and the Apocalypse, directed by John McPhail, starring Ella Hunt, Malcolm Cumming, and Sarah Swire. Steve, this was your pick. Would you like to synopsize it, or are we sending it to Todd?
All right, so Anna and the Apocalypse is the story of Anna. She's a girl in high school. This is in the UK. And, she's kind of just living her life and doing some stuff in school, have some boyfriend issues. And there's a guy who likes her. And there's an ex-boyfriend involved who's a bit of a dick and, all that kind of fun stuff. Meanwhile, there's also a principal who's retiring. And this other guy is going to take the job, and he is an absolute shit. And the kind of story is about him taking over that position. They're about to do a Christmas play. It's Christmas time, of course. It's a Christmas movie, and he's kind of taking over that play as well. And all of a sudden, zombies attack, and the story is basically them trying to survive the zombies, as her dad and a few other of her friends are stuck at the school because of the play, while she was at a bowling alley with some of her other friends working a shift, and they're stuck there, and she wants to go see her dad before it's too late. And also, apparently, it's a place where they're going to, the military is going to pick up the people because, they're close to a military installation, and that's kind of one of the pickup zones, like one of the safe zones in this apocalypse for them to be saved. It's also a musical, we should mention, which is kind of the main portion of this, what makes it, I guess, different from any other films. So I am super curious what everyone thinks of this one. But since we already know what Todd thinks about it, how about he goes first? Because he wrote his Letterboxd review. So
Yeah, so good summary there, Steve. I'm not a show tunes guy at all. I did watch Sound of Music yesterday, and that's a fucking delight of a film. But this is a little different. And if you're a fan of like High School Musical and Glee, and you like young, attractive people singing and dancing and stuff like that, I think you're gonna like this film. If you're, looking straight for the horror stuff, while it is pretty cool, like there's some cool zombies. The zombies look like the zombies from Shaun of the Dead, so that's a good look. There are some good gore gags. There's some decent gore in it, violence, blood, all that stuff. But it just wasn't enough for me personally to get past the just gratingness of the film with with everyone singing and dancing and voiceovering and blah 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 blah, and the fucking principal is acting like a character from Dead Rising, the video game, and it's just like I don't know, man. It just wasn't for me, but I can see the appeal for it. It just absolutely was not geared towards my wheelhouse. So I can't really fairly give it a rating because I mean we can go over there talk about that later, obviously. But yeah, this 100% a miss for me at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this on like the best Christmas horror movies list for a long time now, so I've been really excited to check it out. I'm very like sort of split on this one. Musicals like are I'm 50-50 on them. Like sometimes I think you got to be in the right mood for them, but also like some hit better than others, you know. There's not like a ton of horror musicals out there. Sweeney Todd probably being like one of the bigger ones that I do enjoy for the most part. So yeah, this one like I I think it's fun. Like at the end of the day, I do think it's a fun movie. I had fun watching it at times. Some of the song numbers though were better than others for sure. It's just like yeah, I mean, is it geared towards 40-year-old, middle-aged men like us? Probably not. Obviously, it's sort of like Glee meets like zombies, right? Like at the end of the day, like, and I feel like this came out like when Glee was really popular. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. So yeah, I don't really know the backstory of this. I don't know if like this was something before or if this was its own original thing. But yeah, I mean, I think there's like some really fun stuff with the zombies. I think they do a pretty good job of developing the characters as well before the zombies even come in. But at the end of the day, like I feel like it like didn't bring anything new at the same time to like the zombie genre. So it's like it's still basically at the end of the day, sort of like your basic generic zombie movie, but just made into a musical. So I do think if you were like super into like Glee and musicals like that, I think you'll probably absolutely love this movie. But for me, as someone who's kind of middle of the road, that's kind of where I stand on the movie. It's sort of like I had a fun one time watching it, but I don't see myself ever sort of revisiting this one either.
Yeah, so same thing as you. I heard really good things about this. I was looking forward to it. Musicals, not a big fan generally. I do like stuff like Rocky Horror Picture Show and Phantom of the Opera and South Park. Bigger, longer, and uncut. So it's not like I'm totally opposed to musicals. To me, it just depends on, does the music complement the film? Like, does it add to the film? Am I like singing some of those catchy tunes, a few days after the film? That's what makes me like a musical versus not. And I watched this less than 24 hours ago. I could not tell you one song that was in this movie, and that's a problem, because when I listen to Rocky Horror, I'm like, oh my god, I had some songs I just couldn't get out of my head. And the same thing with like some of the other musicals I've seen. This one, not at all. And my biggest issue with it is I actually enjoyed the zombie story that they were telling. I thought they went to interesting ways. Characters were dying that I didn't expect would die because I thought the story would be going one way. Did they swerve into another way? There were some genuinely like sad moments that were ruined because they had to insert musical numbers that just were too upbeat for the vibe that they're going for with the zombie film. So I thought that the musical didn't add to the movie and they just clashed. It's like you're telling this kind of real horror film, obviously it's a little more upbeat. It's a little like Shaun of the Dead, like you guys said, but the musical numbers were too upbeat for the vibe of the film and it just took me out of it. And I was just like, fuck, I just gotta like sit through this song until they come back to the zombie film, which I actually really enjoyed because it's got good kills. I like the characters. They established the characters well enough, so I knew who was who. I cared if they died, but the music was just not vibing with me at all.
100% agree, man. 100% agree. Both of you guys said, man. I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. Love it. And on paper, that's probably not a film I would like, but I absolutely love it. But yeah, like Steve said, you could put a gun in my head, and I couldn't name a single lyric from this because yeah, it just wasn't catchy. But I, like Steve, really like the zombie stuff, man. Like I really like the zombie snowman. That was a cool little comedy act where she lifts her head up and it's a zombie. I'm like, man, this is cool. Like I wish they would have just done horror, man, because there's like the kids are good. their acting's solid. The gore, like I said, is good. But man, the musical numbers are fucking brutal. Hey, how about that principal though, man? Oh, he had this really funny line that I wrote down. I'm like, I only had 4 notes for this movie, and I already talked about the snowman guy. But I like when he says, "Hand sanitizer is your friend. Kissing on the mouth is not." I thought that was pretty good. I did like another line too of the love interest that was like the Dick character,
Mhm.
where she says, "You're such a child," and he goes, "A sexy child." And he goes, "Wait, no." Like that was
Yeah,
fun
right?
delivery.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did, like I said, I think they did a really good job establishing the characters here. I did enjoy the Anna character a lot. And like Steve said, they do a good job of kind of surprising you. Like the movie doesn't play it safe in some ways, which I did appreciate. They did kill off a lot of the characters you do expect to survive. But I did see this complaint when I was reading other people's reviews, is that the movie towards the end starts to take itself maybe a little too seriously, where it goes from sort of a fun musical zombie time to sort of a depressing last 30 to 45 minutes, killing off some of the most, I guess, popular characters, I guess I would say. One being sort of, it all starts off with the best friend dying, who's sort of the one that's in love with Anna, but obviously is never gonna get with her.
I thought that was her brother, and I was confused for a second. Like, wait a minute.
Well, that would have been a whole nother movie. But you know, yeah, his character dying, and then of course getting to the father character dying as well. So was that something you guys took issue with? I personally liked it. Like I was like, I thought it was cool that we're not, playing it. I did say this was sort of generic, but they did try to do something a little different by sort of going a little darker, which I liked.
Yeah, that's actually what I like the most about this movie is, and what kind of pisses me off the most about the movie at the same time, is I really liked that they were kind of doing twists and turns I didn't expect. When that dude got his hand bit, I was like, oh shit, no fucking way. Like, what fucking sword are they gonna find to cut his hand off? Because there's no way he's dying. I mean, he's the love interest, right? And sure enough, no, like when all the zombies overtaken, I'm like, God damn. And then the same thing, that you have the other, like the 2 friends who also get killed, like die in that room there, and they're like slowly like saying goodbye to each other, but then they go through these musical numbers and ruin the moment completely. Like I was really into it, and then they just completely make it a joke again. And that was my biggest issue with the movie, is that I really enjoyed the zombie part of it. There was like a mix of Shaun of the Dead with some of the kind of zombie humor, like meta zombie humor. Like one that I really liked that just such a subtle thing is right at the beginning, she hears like what sounds like a zombie, like huffing and puffing. Like we all know what zombies sound like, but it was just a girl that had asthma and she just needed like her pump. Like things like that. Like that's funny to me. It's like just making fun of, okay, the zombies are coming. No, they're not. It's just someone with an asthma attack. And there were some great kills. The zombies look cool. Like Todd said, you had the snowman zombie. You also had a Santa zombie that looked really cool. It's just, then it'd be a song and I'd be like, oh, it's almost like a fucking intermission. Like I have to stop my enjoyment because the song really didn't complement what was going on either. It just, I don't know. It's too bad. There's such a good movie in here and it ruined by the musical.
Yeah, I do respect the process here. And reading a little bit about it, it has a kind of a bummer. So it was developed by a gentleman named Ryan McHenry in 2009 when he was in college, and they wrote and made this short film called Zombie Musical, which took inspiration from High School Musical. So I think right around, I think what you said, Joe. And then they worked on it for a few years until he passed away from cancer, and then his like partners slash friends, I guess, made the film that we ended up seeing. So kind of a bummer. Rest in peace to him. Came up with a solid idea, even if we didn't like the execution, but still, it was give it props for originality. But yeah. So I guess it got nominated for British Academy Award short film category, something like that.
That's cool. Yeah, man, I think at the end of the day too, for me, like I did not like the villain being our principal. Arthur Savage is the name of the character. I feel like he just goes too off the rails, like too quickly, but then he becomes like a way over the top like villain where it gets just silly. And I fucking hated his song number. absolutely hated it. Most of the song numbers I did not mind. I will say that. Like I thought most of them were decent enough. They were very High School Musical slash Glee-esque. But his, man, like I thought his singing voice was horrendous. Plus, it was probably my least favorite song in the movie. I do disagree with you guys on the song numbers being completely forgettable. There were two ones that definitely stuck out to me. The Hollywood Ending one, which they do go back to at the end of the movie, which I thought was a good way to go back. But my favorite was the Bullies one. I can't remember it completely, but where like they're like the best killers or whatever, whatever. I thought that one was really good when they're in the shopping cart and stuff like that. I think that was probably my favorite of the numbers, where they're sort of these alpha male types, like, you know, killing all the zombies and stuff. I thought that was really entertaining, mainly because they're just killing the shit out of zombies in that whole musical number, which made it entertaining.
Yeah, my favorite one, I did like the Hollywood Ending one as far as catchy tunes go, but the one I enjoyed watching the most is the one when Anna and her love interest are going to school. And from Anna's perspective, you have almost a Dawn of the Dead remake situation where like her little fucking town is going absolutely apeshit, but it's also a Shaun of the Dead situation where she's just going about her day and all this shit's happening and she totally just doesn't notice anything because she's so into like herself, like what she's doing. So I like that one, but I don't remember the song, and that's kind of a problem, right? How many Disney movies have I seen where I could name you a lot of the songs from each Disney movie because they're not forgettable. They're catchy, and this one I just don't. That's too bad.
No, it's a great point, because like I'm like, well, maybe we only saw it one time, right? So, but I mean, I remember the first time I ever saw Phantom of the Opera, like I knew those songs, a lot of those songs, like almost instantly, like I almost memorized them. And you're right, there isn't, and like even I'm saying the Hollywood Ending song, but like I couldn't name you many lyrics to it. And then I'm like, yeah, the Bully one, but I couldn't sing one verse of that song. So you're right. Like at the end of the day, the songs weren't catchy enough to stick in your head, which definitely is one of the big problems with this movie.
Yeah, I want to talk about a few moments in the movie, and we're taking the musical side of it away. I just want to talk about certain moments in the movie from the zombie part of it, and to get your thought on it. First of all, how fucking stupid was that inflatable pool idea? I don't really understand what their goal was with that.
So this is like another one where I feel like they're borrowing heavily from Shaun of the Dead in some ways. Like I feel like it's like sort of, I don't know if they're paying like homage to that movie or if they're just flat out ripping it off, because it reminds me of the scene sort of where they pretend to be zombies, but instead of that, they go out under the inflatable pool. Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was for comedic relief. I didn't hate it.
I don't remember. Didn't a zombie sit on it or something?
Yeah, Ed Sheeran
Yeah.
says an old lady sitting on your face.
And it's peeing, like
And then it's
the
peeing.
zombie starts
See,
peeing, which is
that's
stupid.
like-
Zombies
that's
don't
like-
pee.
Yeah, that's like slapstick to me, and I don't like
Yeah.
that type of humor. Todd's gripe, though.
Oh, nice.
Could the snow look any fucking faker? Like I can't when these movies have fake snow. It looked like they were doing snow angels and fucking cocaine. Like it did not look like snow whatsoever.
Steve's a snow connoisseur, dude, or connoisseur,
Or a
fucking
cocaine
pronounce
or a
it.
cocaine connoisseur. Who
Yeah,
knows?
it's true.
It bothers me. Like you couldn't get a little bit of fucking real snow or something that at least looks like snow. It didn't look good, and that will always bother me. But that's such a minor nitpick. Every time I see it.
Made 650K in worldwide, so
Not great.
generous.
Not great.
I think it was more popular like after on streaming.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like this has kind of developed some sort of cult following in some ways, because you do hear a lot of people sort of discussing it in, I think, the musical realm. But yeah, I mean, for me, it just kind of, at the end of the day, it's something I'll probably forget about, in a couple of weeks. I mean, the only reason it might stick with me is because of the Christmas stuff in it. But honestly, it didn't even need to be set around Christmas time. There's really nothing like. There's no reason for it to be, I guess, just to, I guess, add that sort of theme to the movie. I mean, I do like Anna's sort of candy cane weapon she does use. That's a fun little thing. But I will say this movie has one of my favorite zombie gags I've seen in a long time, and that is the bowling scene when the zombie head comes back as like the bowling ball, which I fucking loved. I did love that one zombie gag.
What were your favorite kills, actually?
Ooh.
And I mean, that's probably a problem too. I don't remember a lot of them. I mean, granted, it's been like almost a week since I've watched it, so that I guess that could be an issue too. But yeah, I mean, that zombie gag is the one thing that does stick out with me the most as far as all the kills. I think the principal actually, right? He gets like fucking almost Dawn of the Dead style, gets like his innards completely ripped out,
Like
right?
Day of the Dead, yeah. Like
Yeah, Day of the Dead. Yeah, yeah.
hmm
Yeah, the snowman zombie was cool where she hits it with the seesaw and it pops his head off.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I like the double bowling balls where it, like pops his head like a
Yeah, that
pimple.
was awesome. Yeah.
That was a really cool one. And one more, Todd's gripe, and this isn't a lot of zombie films, but really this one. So at the end, Anna and the guy that she used to date, like the bully, are together and they're kind of saying a goodbye song, like we're gonna keep fighting, but we're dead here. Dude, they could have fucking like walked around those zombies and being completely fine. Like the zombies were coming
listening
in
to the performance.
yeah, they were so fucking slow. It's like in Night of the Living Dead remake, right? Like just walk past them. They're so slow, you know. And I kept thinking, like, God damn, look all the space between the zombies and all that room that you could just like get away. They couldn't put them in like a confined space to at least give us the idea that maybe they would die. At no point did I think they were gonna die in that scene. They were way too spread apart. It was weird.
So in a country that doesn't have a lot of access to firearms, what would be your go-to weapon of choice? Like
Oh
I
my
know
God,
Steve,
dude.
you read the fucking zombie handbook and had it in your backpack at one point.
I did,
What's your,
and in a car too for a long time. I have a Kane Hodder signed machete, so
Okay.
that would be my my weapon of choice.
Nice.
Very nice. I mean, I think you can't go wrong with a baseball bat if you
Yeah,
don't have
I mean,
any other
baseball
sort of
bat.
weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal or wood?
Wood.
Oh,
You're
I'd go
going
metal.
Although
full
wood
wood,
would
okay.
well,
go-
I mean, wood would be bad, but that's all I have currently like sitting around. So metal would definitely
Blue-
be the
Blue
better choice
Seal.
because wood would eventually break. All right, gentlemen. I guess we're ready to review this sucker then.
Yeah, rate it. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, did I hate this movie? No. Like I did have a fun time watching it. I think there's some fun times to be had. And I could see people absolutely loving this movie. It's not one I love, but like I said, if you're into the sort of musical aspect of this, I think you're gonna jive with it a lot more than we did. But as it stands, decent one-time watch. I didn't hate myself for watching it. I give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I could easily give this like a half star because I didn't like it at all. But it's also unfair of me to do that because it didn't speak to me. Like I'm not into the musical thing. I didn't really find any like I didn't like any of the musical numbers like you guys did, a couple of them. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5 or just a solid 2 out of 5 because I really did like the zombie story. I thought it was really cool, man. And even with the principal, I know you didn't like him at the end there, Joe, but he felt like if you ever played the game Dead Rising, he felt like a bad guy from that. So it's a 2 out of 5 for me. I'll never watch it again, but like Joe said, I can definitely see why somebody would like this and even love it because if you like the combination of musicals and High School Musical and all that shit, then you probably like this.
It's funny when I was watching it, my first thought was, "Oh my God, it's basically a villain from Dead Rising 3." Like it's
Yeah, for
so
sure.
yeah. I thought the exact same thing. Yeah, so I had fun watching it. I'm not gonna lie. The time went by really fast. I really liked the zombie stuff in it. It's just I found the music distracting and not memorable. So I gave it 2.5 stars. So right down the middle. It's not my thing, And like Joe said, I think a lot of people would dig this if you like Glee, High School Musical type musical stuff. But if you're expecting something like a little bit more Sweeney Todd or Rocky Horror Picture Show, I think you'll be disappointed in this one. So 2.5 out of stars. I think that's fine for me.
Yeah. Very good point too. Like with the expecting Sweeney Todd and Rocky Horror. Yeah, I guess this would be closer to Rocky Horror than anything, but it's too maybe not. It's a little too safe and tame.
You know what one I want to give another shot though is that the genetic opera.
Oh yeah, Repo.
Repo,
I've
yeah.
never seen it.
I've seen it, but like I
I've heard-
expected to hate it, so I
Yeah.
want to like just give it a fresh watch.
That one I feel is very polarizing.
Mm.
Yeah. I've seen people absolutely like disgusted and hate for it, and other people are like, I love it.
It's Bill Moseley singing.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's right. Luigi Largo, I think he says it in our intro, one of our intros.
He does. Yeah,
He
Luigi
mentions
Largo.
that character name. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that is going to be it for this week's episode, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed our review of Anna and the Apocalypse. Next week, we are doing Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, voted on by you guys for our last review of 2023. So we hope you join us for that episode. Once again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate this time of the year. We hope you have an excellent holiday season. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, whatever. Just search the Horror Squad podcast. You can also email us anytime, the Horror Squad podcast at gmail.com. But as you already know, the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast is our Discord. Just if you haven't joined that community yet, all you can do is send us a DM, or it's actually linked now on our Instagram. So you can click on that link and it will get you in right to our Discord. Amazing community over there. We have movie club every single month. We have a lot of great stuff. So just join that community. It's awesome. I also want to mention Living Dead Weekend in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. That is going to be the official Horror Squad meetup for next year, June 7th through 9th. 2024. It is going to be right at the mall where Dawn of the Dead was filmed, very close to Pittsburgh, but Monroeville, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a great time. Me, Steve, and Todd all planning to be there for that. So we hope you guys can join us for that. We plan on doing some other filming locations while we're there too, Night of the Living Dead and stuff like that, and other Romero filming locations. So come join us, Living Dead Weekend, Monroeville Mall, June 7th through 9th, 2024. And merch, we got merch, tpublic.com, the Horror Squad podcast. Most of this is linked on our Instagram. I would say that's the best way if you want to find anything. Also, leave us a 5-star review if you haven't already on your favorite podcast app. That helps us immensely. And I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, happy holidays. We hope you have a safe time. And we will see you guys next week for Pet Cemetery Bloodlines. See ya.
Bye.